It's been a long time, hasn't it? I'm sure you guys have been wondering what's been going on. It's been probably 5 months since the last RSX update. Well, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all those holidays came along. We got pretty crammed working on some other projects around the shop. You can see 58 Miata covered up. 68's outside, we're still finishing up that whole build. 447, which is Brandon's Miata, is still getting put together. So the RSX has been on a little bit of a hold, and for good reason at that. I don't want to say the first 4 episodes of the series have really been a throwaway, because they've been a really good way for me to learn all the editing and kind of what you guys would like to see. But in terms of what's actually going on with the car, a lot has changed. So physically, you might not see any differences on the car. We've just been collecting a lot of parts. You can see the video is a little different too. I'm filming on my iPhone instead of having the whole Canon setup and everything, just to keep it simple for you guys and get this out. But around Christmas time, I started exploring the VTech Club rulebook. So as some of you know, I've kind of been interested in VTech Club since I first saw it come out a couple of years ago as a competitive series. It was by no means something I wanted to do with my original RSX, just because some of the risks and things like that. But with how this build has been going together, and kind of because I needed a rulebook to assemble the car to, I looked to VTech Club right away, just because it's the closest series that I have to me that's exclusively Honda. It's one that seemed to be really good for the Honda community without being something obscene. And by no means does that mean I wouldn't compete in something like Grid Life or Global Time Attack. Both of those are something I'd probably get into eventually, but this is the easiest and most obtainable right now in terms of going with VTech Club. So initially, when I was putting this car together with the wide body and what I was considering for aero and all these other things, looking at the VTech Club rulebook, I would be put in what was called A2. So for those of you that don't know what the VTech Club A2 class is, it's borderline an unlimited class. So you don't really have any limits in terms of engine modification outside of no forced induction, but motors can be fully built, E85, the works really. You could dump a ton of money into your setups. You're allowed full aero, no headlights. All you have to have really is working brake lights. You can have wide bodies. It's just a step below Group A, which is their essentially unlimited class. That being said, a full bolt-on or near stock K20 would pretty much get its shit pushed in. There's no other way of putting that. I am by no means a savant of a driver. There's no way I could work around a Frankenstein K20, K24 with just a full bolt-on K20. Simply put, regardless of how much aero or anything that I would want to run. So I took a step back and looked into the rulebook and kind of went, okay, what's the easiest class I can get into without really compromising anything or getting rid of the car, or any of that sort. So our compromise ended up becoming building the car to the Group N1 rulebook. So Group N1 is basically a near stock class. So that means in terms of the RSX, the headlight covers, we're gonna have to get OEM headlights. Make sure those are all working. We're going to have to not run the wide body, albeit we've talked to some of the people who run VTech Club, and they do say that the wide body is legal. That being said, I don't really see an advantage of running it, considering that the K20 doesn't really care about having anything wider than a 255 at the power level that we're expecting. So the wide body is going to stay off for the time being, and we're really just going to focus on suspension and everything in that realm. So we need to finish up the electronic power steering. We obviously need to get the motor in. We have oil pan baffle and a couple other bits and pieces that need to go in, but nothing really fancy. Car needs to get tuned, etc. But yeah, I really wanted to make this updated video for you guys to get an idea of where the car is. Like I said, I know it's been a long time, and I didn't want it to be something that just kind of stays on the internet and no one really wonders what happens until all of a sudden the car shows up out of nowhere. So I hope this is a little bit more informal, something I can do a little bit more on the regular, and just so you guys can keep in touch with the car better. Like I said also in the video, we have our head up to here with other builds at the shop. Like I said, 58 needed to get worked on. The Miata 58 that's under the cover right there. RSX 58 obviously getting worked on when I have time. Miata 68 outside is halfway done with the build. So we got delayed 2 months with that because of all the weather we've been having around here, all the rain that we had in the off season, which is odd for California. And outside of that, we still have Brandon's 447 build. But yeah, other than that, hope to keep in touch more regularly than these uploads have been. And as you can see, nothing has really changed there. Anyway, I'm gonna put some visuals of some of the stuff that's been going on so you guys can see the new coil rod radiator. You can see the Todd's camber caster plates that we got, which some of you probably saw that post on Instagram a while back. And just a couple other bits and pieces that have kind of been flowing in for the car. Yeah, that's about it. Enjoy the visuals.
Run that back turbo.
Synchro.
Just wanted to take a quick minute to say thank you to everyone that's been keeping up with the build. I know it's been dry for the last couple months, but hopefully we'll get into full swing, especially in these coming months once some of the other projects finish up. If you want to keep in touch with us and see the progress of the car that we might not necessarily upload onto YouTube, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and keep in touch that way. Anyway, thanks guys.